The Boys 2019 Season 1 Recap. Episode 1. The name of the game. Huey Campbell is an ordinary guy working at an AV store. One day, while walking with his girlfriend Robin, she is accidentally killed in a gruesome accident. The super-powered speedster A train runs through her. The aftermath is messy, horrifying, and sets the tone. Superpowers in this world come at brutal human costs. VOD International steps in, offering Huey a settlement around $45,000 and a non-disclosure agreement (NDA) to keep him quiet. Huey is torn. Part of him wants justice, part wants to avoid more horror. Meanwhile, we're introduced to Annie January, Starlight, who is trying out to join the Seven, a prestigious group of superheroes backed by VOD. She's hopeful, idealistic, she is vetted, put through PR, introduced to the public. Annie runs into the darker side of the Seven almost immediately. The Deep assaults her, sexual coercion, in a bathroom, threatening her membership if she doesn't comply. Annie is traumatized, but pressured to stay quiet. Meanwhile, Billy Butcher appears, a rough, determined man who has a grudge against Supes. He recruits Huey, convincing him to plant a listening device bug inside the Seven's headquarters to gather evidence about A-Train and what really happened the day Robin died. The pilot ends with a shocking reveal of just how ruthless the powerful are. Homelander kills the mayor of Baltimore, who had threatened to expose information about Compound V, by shooting down his plane, killing the mayor's son too. No mercy, no cover-ups. It starts to become clear VOD and the Seven are far darker than their polished public faces. Episode 2, Cherry. The episode picks up with Translucent, a Supe from the Seven who is nearly invulnerable, due to his carbon diamond-like skin, captured by Butcher and Huey. He is alive but incapacitated. Huey struggles with the moral weight of what Butcher is asking: torture, murder, how far to go? He is increasingly uncomfortable. Butcher is far more pragmatic, ruthless. Frenchie is brought in to help. Frenchie works on figuring out Translucent's weakness. He realizes Translucent's exterior is diamond hard, but his interior is vulnerable. They come up with a plan involving a bomb placed in a place where Translucent cannot feel it coming, a very invasive and morally questionable plan. Meanwhile, Starlight continues her role with the Seven. She fights to maintain her integrity while subjected to the PR machine and pressure from VOD. She also starts to push back subtly. The plan unfolds. Translucent escapes briefly from his cage by short-circuiting the electric cage with his own urine, a grotesque but memorable moment, and tries to flee. Huey, after much inner conflict, detonates the bomb, killing Translucent. Huey's life is irreversibly changed. He has made his first kill. He is not the same. Episode 3, Get Some. The fallout from Translucent's death is immediate. Butcher, Huey, Frenchie are now more deeply involved in the boys' mission. They try to cover their tracks, hide the evidence so Homelander can't trace anything back to them. Starlight faces pressure at work. Her image is being rebranded. She is given a more revealing costume, more marketing, more public appearances that make her uncomfortable. The tension between her ideals and what VOD demands builds. A-Train is under increasing pressure to maintain his status. His addiction to Compound V is delved into more. Popclaw, his partner, also becomes more central, as the boys try to dig up evidence, and as Popclaw's own story becomes tragic, her involvement in the compound, the consequences. Huey and Starlight cross paths again. At a race event, they exchange numbers, a moment that humanizes both and shows vulnerability. It feels like there is a chance for truth, for connection, but it's complicated by lies, secrets, power. Episode 4, The Female of the Species. The boys Butcher, Frenchie, Mother's Milk, Huey attempt to investigate a lead tied to Compound V. They are drawn to Samaritan's Embrace, a charity run by the evangelical superhero Ezekiel, Capes for Christ, which seems to be a front. They suspect supplies of Compound V are being distributed, laundered through this charity. Frenchie discovers a new soup, a female with tremendous healing, strength, and rage. She has been held captive. The boys mistakenly see the cage as her prison, but she is feral and dangerous. They try to free her. Train and Starlight have moments where Starlight sees the ugliness behind the heroic image of the Seven. The Deep also shows some internal conflict and narcissism. The Soup's public image versus their personal failings become more obvious. The major moment. Flight 37. A plane hijacked with passengers aboard. Vought orders Homelander and Queen Maeve to rescue the hostages. But Homelander subtly sabotages the mission, using his laser vision to damage the cockpit, leaving the situation worse. Passengers die, bodies fall out. Homelander uses the crash for political leverage, pushing the idea that Soups should be integrated into the military, and more centralized authority control. Episode 5, Good for the Soul. This episode deepens Starlight's backstory and her relationship with her family. She confronts the gap between her ideals and what being part of the Seven requires. There's more pressure, more moral compromise. Note: fewer plot summaries in sources, but this is a character-heavy one. The boys continue to investigate Compound V. There are hints of more Vought corruption, blackmail, and hidden structures. The leads from previous episodes are starting to converge. Again, less detailed public recaps for this episode, but these are the broad strokes. Episode 6, The Innocence. The boys find leads to Sage Grove Center, which is revealed to be a place where Vought holds more secret tests, experiments, etc. They uncover darker secrets about how soups are created, controlled, and possibly the fate of some missing people. Homelander and the Seven continue public appearances, political lobbying, and increasingly show their ambition and ruthlessness. The pressure both from outside and from internal tension builds. Episode 7, Self-Preservation Society. The Seven become aware more concretely of the boys' operations. Homelander publicly confronts that Huey has been using Annie, Starlight to reach into Vought's secrets. The lines between hero and villain blur. Annie is deeply affected, betrayed, shocked, confused. Butcher's past and motivations deepen. Mesmer, a psychic soup, becomes a key player. He knows things, but his loyalties are murky. The pressure from the CIA, government, Vought intensifies. The boys are on the run, their identities at risk. Episode 8, You Found Me, Season Finale. Becca Butcher, Billy's presumed dead wife, suddenly appears on Butcher's doorstep, alive. This upends everything. Butcher, Huey, Starlight, and the rest are forced into confrontation. Becca reveals she had Homelander's child. That child, Ryan, has been raised in secret. In a final confrontation in Vought Tower headquarters, Butcher rigs a bomb strapped to Madeline Stillwell to force Homelander's hand. But Homelander saves Butcher and unexpectedly rescues Stillwell, but kills her quickly. Butcher is injured, possibly near death. The power dynamics shift. The finale closes with the public being exposed to some truths, but not all. The Seven remain powerful, Vought still looms large, the boys are battered but still standing. The season ends on tension, between hope for justice, distrust, and fear of what the soups are truly capable of. Season 2, Overview. In Season 2, The Boys picks up after the explosive events of Season 1. Billy Butcher has disappeared, the remaining members are fugitives. Homelander is consolidating power, Vought is expanding influence, and a new soup, Stormfront, enters the scene, bringing charisma, media savvy, and a dangerous ideology. Meanwhile, the boys, Huey, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, Kimiko, work to expose the truth, rescue loved ones, and dismantle Vought's corrupt system from within. Episode 1, The Big Ride. The season opens with the boys in hiding. Huey Campbell, Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and Kimiko are fugitives after exposing the corruption of Vought and the Seven. They're laying low, trying to figure out their next move while avoiding capture. Homelander is feeling his power threatened. Vought's CEO, Stan Edgar, brings in Stormfront, who is presented as a new soup that could become a valuable, powerful member of the Seven. Homelander immediately senses she's different and possibly dangerous. Meanwhile, there is a terrorist soup on the loose, and the boys attempt to stop him. They work without Butcher, who is missing, presumed gone. Tension is high because they don't know Becca's status or whether Butcher has given up or been captured. Episode 2. Proper Preparation and Planning. Butcher returns. He meets up with the boys and helps plan operations in exchange for help finding his wife, Becca, who he believed dead but hears may still be alive. He strikes a deal with Grace Mallory, ex-CIA, for intelligence. The boys learn that the terrorist they are after is Kenji, Kimiko's younger brother. Capturing him becomes complicated because of familial ties, moral dilemmas, and the fact that he's a soup terrorist. Homelander tries to become more present in his son Ryan's life. He's unaware initially that Ryan is his son via Becca, but as he learns, he attempts to shape his relationship with the child, wanting to guide him in Homelander's image. This raises questions about what fatherhood looks like in this world. Episode 3. Over the Hill with the Swords of 1,000 Men. The plot escalates. The boys attempt to transport Kenji for safety, the CIA's safe house, but things go wrong. Stormfront's influence becomes more pronounced within the Seven and the media. Her beliefs and rhetoric begin to show her darker side. Starlight is forced into a difficult position. She must choose between revealing Vought's corruption and endangering innocent lives, or staying silent to protect herself and others. Her integrity is tested severely. Homelander is increasingly isolated in some ways. His relationships with other soups, especially with Stormfront, get complicated as she challenges or contradicts his worldview. Ryan, the child, is brought more into story, pushed to use his powers, and manipulated by surrounding adults. Episode 4. Nothing Like It in the World. The boys follow a lead to North Carolina, investigating a mysterious soup named Liberty. They uncover how Vought's influence extends far beyond the Seven, showing the spread of soup ideology, propaganda, and how soups impact communities. Homelander continues to push his identity more visibly in public. Internal conflicts blossom among the Seven. Stormfront's approach becomes more ideological and dangerous. She courts public support with extremist ideas. Episode 5. We Gotta Go Now. This episode heightens tension. Butcher considers stepping back, rethinking his vows, doubts. He visits his Aunt Judy under pressure. Meanwhile, Black Noir is ordered to kill Butcher. The boys must defend themselves. Homelander suffers a reputational crisis. An operation gone wrong leads to civilian casualties, undermining public trust. He must rely on Stormfront reluctantly to restore his image. The dynamic between them is uneasy. Episode 6. The Bloody Doors Off. The boys and Starlight infiltrate Sage Grove Center, a Vought mental health experiment facility. They follow leads about Stormfront's experimentation on soups, locked up individuals, possibly children or test subjects. They discover dark secrets. Frenchie confronts Lamplighter, leading to revelations about the past, trauma, betrayal, who killed whom. Lamplighter's guilt over Mallory's grandchildren, who died, is revisited. Frenchie has emotional confrontation. Stormfront's true motives and past continue to creep into view. Her veneer of heroism is cracking. The Seven are under pressure from both internal and external forces. Episode 7. Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker. The boys team up with Congresswoman Victoria Newman to build a legal case against Vought. Lamplighter is to serve as a witness, revealing Vought's lies and Stormfront's history. Huey receives terrible news about Starlight, something threatening, maybe public exposure or harm. Emotions rise. The stakes are very high. Meanwhile, Homelander and Stormfront continue consolidating power. There are moves behind the scenes, attempts to silence or manipulate those who dissent. Public perception becomes part of the battlefield. Episode 8. What I Know. The season finale brings many plot threads to a head. Becca, Butcher's wife, reappears, begging for his help. Their son Ryan is in danger, kidnapped or taken by Homelander, Stormfront's influence. The boys, along with Starlight, mobilize to rescue him. Stormfront's past is exposed. Nazi associations, extremist ideology. The boys leak evidence. This forces Vought and Homelander to respond. A big confrontation emerges. Homelander, enraged by betrayals and revelations, lashes out. Ryan, emotionally overwhelmed, accidentally uses his powers. There is tragedy. Becca is accidentally harmed or killed by Ryan's power, changing everything. Butcher is devastated. He must keep his promise to Becca to protect their son. The finale ends with shifting power. The boys' names are somewhat cleared. Some public opinion turns against Vought. Soups. Butcher has lost but has hope. Stormfront is wounded in reputation though still dangerous. Homelander must reckon with what his illusions are costing him. The Boys Season 3, Overview and Context. Before diving into the episodes, here's a brief setup of Season 3's major arcs and stakes. Butcher is dying from brain damage inflicted by Temp V, giving him limited time to take down Homelander. Victoria Newman becomes a more central antagonist. She is revealed to be a soup with blood-based powers, hiding her identity while climbing political power. Homelander publicly embraces his darker nature, emboldened by his supporters. Soldier Boy, previously believed dead, is revealed to be alive and plays a key role in the season's escalation. With that in mind, here's how each episode unfolds. Episode 1, Payback. The season opens with tension. Butcher is in worsening condition, kept alive by V-24, a stronger form of the compound. The boys regroup to confront new threats. They begin investigating Newman's rise in her relationship with Vought. Homelander begins to test limits. His public image is more volatile, and he becomes less concerned with hiding his true nature. We see Newman manipulating public opinion, positioning herself for political power while secretly using her powers in clandestine ways. Episode 2, The Only Man in the Sky. The boys dig deeper into Vought's secrets, investigating Red River, the same orphanage Newman was once part of. They uncover Newman's connections to Vought's experiments in her past, confirming that she has been hiding her soup nature. Homelander continues to escalate his power play. His relationship with Ryan becomes more central as he tries to indoctrinate or corrupt his son. Tensions within the boys increase. Huey, Frenchie, and Kimiko all have to grapple with how far they will go for revenge and justice. Episode 3, Barbary Coast. The boys launch a daring operation to capture or expose Vought's clandestine labs or resources. They challenge Vought's control of the narrative. Newman steps more into the public eye, pushing legislation that would regulate soups, but it serves her private ambitions. Homelander is more ruthless. His cunning and cruelty sharpen as he consolidates power among the seven. The internal strain on Butcher becomes more visible. His deterioration weighs on the team. Episode 4, Glorious 5-Year Plan. The boys travel to Russia to confront Little Nina, a gangster who may hold the key to discovering BCL Red, a weapon capable of harming soups. Butcher offers Nina money to help them get access to the lab that houses BCL Red. In exchange, the boys must perform a hit on a Russian oligarch. Kimiko is sent to carry out part of the mission. She infiltrates the oligarch's mansion, disguising herself in a risky and morally complex maneuver to get inside. Meanwhile, Starlight, Maeve, A-Train, and others attempt a coup against Homelander. But that plan unravels. A-Train betrays them by siding with Homelander, leading to Supersonic's death. The boys, in the Russian lab, discover that Soldier Boy is alive, not the weapon they expected. When he unleashes a powerful blast, Kimiko is injured critically in the process. The episode ends with the boys reeling, key losses, exposed lies, and their mission more dangerous than ever. Episode 5, Here Comes a Candle to Light You to Bed. Newman's political ambitions accelerate. She bargains with Homelander for more power in exchange for further destabilization of Vought's rivals. The boys try to regroup. With Kimiko critically injured, they struggle with how to proceed without her. Butcher is haunted by visions, guilt, and loss. His drive becomes more urgent as time runs out. The tension between vengeance and morality intensifies among the team. They question which lines they will cross. Episode 6, The Instant White Hot Wild. The boys' chase leads on BCL Red while trying to protect Kimiko and maintain internal unity. Newman maneuvers politically, pushing for legislation and alliances that will place her in a position to control or manipulate public perception. Homelander further exposes his instability and cruelty, his public image grows more dangerous. Butcher's condition worsens, the threat of his mortality becomes a driving force behind his decisions. Episode 7. Here's how you lose the bit. The boys make a daring attempt to expose Newman's duplicity, hoping to undercut her political rise. They confront Vought's deeper secrets, including evidence tying Newman's past, Red River, to Vought's experiments. Homelander's relationship with Ryan fractures as Ryan begins to see the monstrous nature of his father. The team is pushed to breaking points, facing betrayal, misdirection, and personal risk. Episode 8. That's Most of the Truth, Season Finale. In the finale, the boys go all in. They confront Newman in public, attempt to expose her crimes and collusion with Vought. Soldier Boy returns fully to the stage, becoming a wild card. His presence significantly shifts the balance of power. Kimiko, badly injured, struggles to recover, her fate becomes a key emotional hinge for the team. Butcher uses every remaining resource and risk to challenge Homelander and Vought. His desperation is palpable. The season ends on a cliffhanger. Power structures shaken, alliances reshaped, and the promise of an even bloodier battle ahead.
Recap of The Boys on Season 4, broken down into episodes 1 through 8. Spoilers ahead. Episode 1, Department of Dirty Tricks. The season opens amid Homelander's trial for the public killing of a protester. He is acquitted, and his cult of followers, home teamers, cheer his vindication. Meanwhile, Victoria Newman is revealed to be Vice President-elect, increasing her power. The boys attempt an assassination on Newman, but the plan fails. The mission's fallout escalates tension. Butcher is visibly deteriorating, hallucinating, and struggling with his illness, brought on by repeated exposure to V-compound. He also tries to protect Ryan by bargaining with Newman. "You help with Ryan, I'll give you Newman's secrets." In a shocking moment, Newman's daughter Zoe displays her soupy powers, tentacles from her mouth, and attacks Frenchie and Kimiko. This reveals that Newman's lineage is also super-powered. Episode 2. Life Among the Septics. Huey deals with a family crisis. His father collapses, and his estranged mother returns. Personal stakes increase for him. A-Train switches sides, surprising the boys by giving them video evidence that helps exonerate two men wrongly accused of violence, shifting public opinion. Homelander continues to manipulate public perception. He stages a save in a bank robbery for Ryan's benefit, but when Ryan overthrows the robber, Homelander steps in, showing he cannot relinquish the spotlight. This creates tension between father and son. The alliance between the boys and Newman remains uneasy. Secrets trade hands. Episode 3. Barbary Coast. The boys carry out covert actions to sabotage Vaught's infrastructure and weaken their grip. Newman's secret history, Red River, her foster home, her ties with Vought, becomes more exposed. The political and personal stakes deepen. Butcher is pushed further by his illness. His condition demands more risks and vulnerabilities. Homelander's instability and volatility are more apparent. His public persona and private cruelty increasingly conflict. Episode 4. Wisdom of the Ages. The boys free Stan Edgar, hoping he will help them reverse or stabilize the power dynamics. Edgar's knowledge of Vought is a key asset. Newman pushes further politically, leveraging her position as VP and her hidden soup status to manipulate outcomes. Homelander and Sage, Sister Sage's alliance grows, with Sage's genius adding threat and depth to his power. The internal strain on the boys increases. Disagreements, secrets, and mistrust threaten their cohesion. Episode 5. Beware the Jabawok, My Son. The boys try to infiltrate a Vought facility to recover the anti-soupy virus, BCL Red, facing traps and resistance. Huey's father's health worsens, complicating his ability to focus on the mission. Homelander continues driving a wedge between Ryan and the rest, using his influence to manipulate Ryan's path. Episode 6. Dirty Business. Much of this episode centers on Vaught's private incarceration/correctional systems. Vaught's rehabilitation prisons hide horrific experiments and oppression. The boys uncover more of Vought's internal corruption, how they control, exploit, and manipulate Soups behind the scenes. Butcher's condition worsens dramatically, making leadership and decisions more precarious. Episode 7, The Insider. The boys attempt to expose the hidden power behind Newman, the puppet masters who are pulling her strings. Homelander's relationship with Ryan is further strained. Ryan shows glimpses of independence and moral resistance. The alliances shift and falter. Trust is tested across all edges. The boys, Vought, Soups, and political operatives. Episode 8, Season 4 Finale, originally Assassination Run. The boys and allies race to stop Newman from assuming power and prevent the assassination of President-elect Robert Singer. A shapeshifter infiltrates and impersonates Annie, Starlight. Huey figures out the fraud during the chaos. Butcher attempts a final gambit. He tries to manipulate Ryan into killing his father, Homelander, to end his terror. Singer is caught in the crossfire. Vaught's conspiracies unravel. Videos expose that Singer wanted Newman dead. She is killed. In a shocking moment, Ryan kills Grace Mallory, a betrayal that echoes his father's darkness and sets up new direction. After chaos, Butcher embraces his mutation/sickness, kills Newman, and forces Singer's arrest. The final political axis is upended. Homelander becomes the de facto ruler, with Singer arrested and Speaker Calhoun revealed as a puppet. The very last twist. Homelander discovers Soldier Boy in a cryogenic tank, the revelation that changes the power structure moving forward.